Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to our channel Figuring Out Finance, where we bring you zero cost trading education and technical analysis insights on our YouTube channel. This video is essentially part 3 of our order block strategy, and we're going to be talking about market manipulation tactics insofar as it relates to trading session, liquidity. And as usual, we'll be going through a PDF strategy guide. This is part 3, as I mentioned, and we'll be releasing this to you guys free of charge once we hit 50 likes. If you just take a look at the bottom here, 50 likes. Once we hit 50 likes, we'll drop a link to this free PDF strategy guide. In terms of what we're going to be covering in this video, there's a lot to cover. We're going to be covering essentially order flow volume, in terms of looking at the market properly, in terms of liquidity, market manipulation, and also covering some of the things that retail traders are either completely unaware of or do not appreciate fully. I think is one of the main reasons why retail traders fail and do not become consistently profitable. And we'll also be covering something that I refer to as the inducement trade, which is basically where market makers get you to enter the wrong side of the market. You can see lots of different concepts that they put out on the internet and other sources like bearish engulfing and lots of other concepts, support and resistance, so-called support right here, and you can see it's invalidated, and guess what, the market continues on its true direction. We're going to be covering all of this in detail. You're not going to miss a thing. We've got a lot to cover. Of course, we appreciate your support on this channel. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. Let's have a look at this box in the bottom right. Consider subscribing, sharing the video with your friends and family or people who might benefit from it. Of course, like, and it will also help get this guide to you quicker. And also leave a comment in terms of whether you like this video, what you think we should cover on future videos, and also let me know in terms of leaving a comment whether you want to see part 2 of this video, and also whether you'd like a link to the PDF strategy guide as mentioned. So definitely stay tuned. There's lots of different things that we're going to be covering in this video, and we hope you enjoy it. All right, so first things first, this is part 1 of our market manipulation tactics video. This is a trade that I took quite recently. We're looking at early January 2022. I'll mention the exact trade a little bit later at the end of this video, so stay tuned, because there's a few things you'll want to hear if you want to know more about why I was taking the trade. But from a high level, let's talk about trading sessions. So here is a picture provided by the website mentioned on screen, and you can see that the main trading session is a bit of an overlap between London and New York. I know people in different parts of the world who will trade at extraordinarily unusual times in, I guess, their home country. Like we're talking Japan here, we're talking Australia. They'll wake up in the middle of the night or trade at really weird times, and that's because they want to get in this main trading session period quite often, and that's when liquidity is the highest. We can see AUD, NZD, JPY, Oceania and Asia Pacific currencies are going wild in the Asian session, and I guess you can see the liquidity pick up here, and here is the hourly ranges for major currencies. And what I want you to look at is the GBP USD, which springs to life, as I mentioned, at 7 a.m. GMT, which is roughly around when the London session kicks into gear. Retail traders, in my view, are consistently set up to fail, and that's just the way it is. Actually, in fact, if we have a look at this chart very quickly, we can see the delusion of FX traders right here on the right. We can see 84% of retail traders thought they could make money and only 30% do, and quite a lot of people in that 30% bracket don't even make significant money and end up quitting at the end of the first year. So first things first, in terms of the PDF guide, obviously we know the Forex market is open 24/5 and liquidity is high in certain sessions. We already knew that because we've seen that on different websites. I'm not going to name it, but it begins with baby, and lots of people do their free Forex courses, and at the end of it they have a completely skewed and incorrect view of the market. And right here we know that banks and institutions must stack order flow volume, and the key that we're going to be talking about in this particular scenario is the inducement trade. So let's get into it. So what's going on? We can see that trading sessions exist. We already knew that. we can see a huge period of consolidation right here in terms of Asia and London. It's hitting so-called support at the bottom and resistance at the top right here. Okay, retail traders are sort of now looking at price action around this support zone. And I guess just to make clear in terms of what's going on in this consolidation period in the Asia and London trading session, we've got something called order flow volume. Okay, orders are being stacked, it's just you're unclear about the direction. But if you want to talk about volume, okay, volume is the highest in periods of consolidation. As we can see here, consolidation is around 14 hours. And what you need to be aware of as a smart trader, as an institutional order block strategy trader, is you've noticed the consolidation in 2 trading sessions and you're expecting liquidity to be run on. Okay, we cover this in part 1 and part 2 of our strategy, so check that out if you haven't already. But what you need to know is that in order for banks and financial institutions to make money, they need to liquidate and also get people on the wrong side of the trade. So if you have a look at these little box on the right hand side, you can see that 2 things happen. Okay, number 1, retail stops get liquidated. And you might be asking yourself, well, where are the stops and why did they get liquidated? So quite simply, here is your support zone. If you're a basic retail trader with no other education or knowledge, here is your support zone. Your stops are just under here, and if you look to the right, you can see we've got this so-called bearish engulfing candle, if I can draw properly, and that would essentially have liquidated all the stops which are in this region. Okay, so retail traders who were buying too early made losses. Okay, so you've got tiers on the retail trader side just for that. And also what you've got here is so-called breakout traders, okay, where you've got a breakout. You can see down here it broke below, in fact tested 1-2 times. Maybe that's confirmation for certain traders. They got their stops probably above this line, and guess what, they get liquidated in short order as well. So again, this box hopefully is helpful to understand exactly what's going on with the retail trader. They're getting absolutely pummeled. They're like in the ring with Mike Tyson, and they're taking shots and they're getting knocked out, and that's just the way that banks work. Okay, the banks work on liquidity, and as we mentioned, we're calling it the inducement trade. Okay, and once you know how trading session liquidity can be used by banks and financial institutions, then you'll understand how to avoid this yourself basically and become more profitable. Okay, so I guess if we just recap quickly what we've been talking about consolidation in the Asian and London session. We see New York open. I'm looking for buys, and what we can basically see is an order block strategy, and we covered this in part 1 of our order block strategy video, so check that out. But essentially what you can see from the bottom to the top of this particular candle, okay, we've seen the manipulation candle right here, and then we saw signs of a selling climax. Okay, buyers were starting to step into the market. This is basically the bank saying enough is enough, I want to move the market in its true direction. We got the 50% fib, which is our order block fib, and the market goes up, a huge risk to reward. Okay, you know, thanks so much for your support. We'll share a free PDF guide once we hit 50 likes, and let me know in the comment section below whether you want to see part 2 of our market manipulation series. And I hope you enjoyed part 3 of our institutional order block strategy. As usual, we'll be continuing on our YouTube channel, bringing you zero-cost trading education and technical analysis insights. You've been amazing. We've been figuring out finance. Until next time, take care.